Hey everyone. Welcome to the pilot episode of Final Whistle Chronicles. I'm your host, Riley Loper, and today we've got a lineup that'll knock your socks off. Or, if you're a true baseball fan, maybe gently nudge your cap off. From the heart-pounding finish to the World Series, to jaw-dropping player performances, and even some behind-the-scenes drama that could rival up a reality TV show. Yep, we're covering it all. So grab your peanuts and Cracker Jacks and let's get this party started. Alright, before we dive into the day's highlights, it's time for a little brain teaser. Ready for some daily trivia? Here we go. So, the New York Yankees, yes, the team you've probably seen in every postseason highlight, hold the record for the most postseason wins in any MLB franchise with a jaw-dropping 251 wins. But here's a twist. Which team has the second most postseason wins? Is it A, the Atlanta Braves, B, the LA Dodgers, C, the St. Louis Cardinals, or D, the Boston Red Sox? Take a moment. Let it marinate. Do you feel lucky? If you guess C, St. Louis Cardinals, you nailed it. The Cardinals have racked up a solid 145 postseason wins, putting them just behind the Yankees. I mean, this team knows how to show up when it counts. Sometimes I feel like they've been in playoffs since the dawn of baseball. Now, let's talk about the big one, the World Series. Drum roll, please. The LA Dodgers are your 2024 World Series champions. A solid 4-1 win over their opponents, which some might call a gentleman's sweep, but let's be real, it was more like a full-on sweep with the fancy top hat. The Dodgers showed why they're one of the top-tier franchises, and after a roller coaster ride of emotions, they clinched their first title since 2020. The resilience and skill? Truly next level. And no championship is ever complete without an MVP. And this year, the honor goes to no other than Freddie Freeman. This guy was on fire. From his power hitting to clutch defensive plays. But let's talk about the real heart of his story. While Freddie was out there smacking homers and playing like a beast, his son, Maximus Freeman, yes, that's his name, he sounds like a superhero, was battling Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a rare and serious condition that affects the nervous system. Max's conditions got so severe that he was fighting for his life. While Freddie was in the midst of the biggest games of his career, imagine that, playing for a World Series and also trying to keep it together as a father. It's like juggling flaming swords, but Freddie made it work. And in a true miracle, Max is improving, and the family is pulling through. That's a literal reminder that athletes are human too, folks. Props to Freddie for being able to balance both his family and his place in baseball history. But on that topic, speaking of epic performances, let's talk about Giancarlo Stanton and Tommy Edman, who were also named MVPs of the ALCS and NLCS. Respectively, Stanton was out there hitting bombs like it was batting practice, while Edman that was just making plays that would make your grandmother go, woo! But the Yankees and Dodgers had no doubt why these two teams were named MVPs. When the postseason comes around, they show up. But let's rewind and revisit the ALCS and NLCS for a sec. The ALCS was an absolute roller coaster, with the Yankees going toe-to-toe with the Cleveland Guardians. The Yankees pulled off the win, but it was still close. This series was filled with standout moments from Aaron Judge, the human skyscraper, Giancarlo Stanton, the guy who could knock out a stadium light with his home run, and Garrett Cole, the pitcher powerhouse who makes batters wish they had a rain check. The Guardians definitely put up a fight, but the Yankees eventually outlasted them. Meanwhile, the NLCS had the Dodgers facing off against the New York Mets, who were desperate to make it back to the Fall Classic. But alas, it wasn't their year. The Dodgers sealed the deal 4-2 thanks to stellar performances from Kershaw, Buehler, and, a little thing called depth. The Mets fought valiantly, but the Dodgers just had that next level thing going on. Alright, let's talk about some drama. And no, I'm not talking about the last season of The Bachelor, or anything else you can view on Peacock. We need to address her whispers surrounding Aaron Judge. The man had a career-high 60-plus home runs this season. 60? That's like the age of your grandma in home runs. Some people have raised eyebrows wondering if his power surge could be linked to performance-enhancing drugs. Judge, of course, has vehemently denied any allegations. But when you hit numbers like that, the spotlight, well, it gets a little brighter. So, what do you think? Should we trust the man who hits home runs like it's MLB The Show? Or is scrutiny just part of the price of greatness? Well, now let's talk about some unforgettable moments. Freddie Freeman once again showed us why he's one of the best. In fact, he hit home runs in 4 out of the 5 World Series games. And he even had a walk-off grand slam in Game 1. I mean, if there was an MVP for clutch moments, Freddie probably would have won that too. This guy is like the superhero of the postseason, just minus the cape. But I do bet that's in next year's contract for him. And if you thought Freddie Freeman was wild, let's talk about Shohei Ohtani, aka the legend who could do everything. This year, Ohtani created the 50-50 club. That's 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a single season. Just casually rewriting the baseball record books. This guy isn't just hitting home runs. He's also stealing bases, pitching like a cyborg, and generally making every other player on the field question their life choices. It's like watching a video game character play in real life. Ohtani is truly a once-in-a-generational talent. But here's where Ohtani's brilliance goes beyond the field. His contract situation? Pure genius. Shohei knew the value of his unique skill set, and not just as a player, but as a brand as well. So he structured his contract in a way that maximizes both his earnings potential and his impact on the sport. It's not just about hitting home runs or striking guys out. Ohtani's a master of the business side too. Shohei Ohtani has a 10-year, $700 million contract, but what he did was he deferred it. So basically what that means is he's only making $20 million right now as he plays, and he'll get $680 million for retirement. He's more than just a contract negotiator, he's a pioneer in how players can elevate themselves beyond the field. And yet, through all of this, he remains incredibly humble. Despite being one of the best in the game, Ohtani's selflessness is clear. He's all about the team, even when the spotlight is his alone. Ohtani's approach to the game and business side of things proves that even the greatest of talents understand the importance of collaboration and humility. Looking ahead to the offseason, it's business time. The Yankees have some tough decisions to make, with key players like Luis Severino, Giancarlo Stanton, and Josh Donaldson hitting free agency. Also Juan Soto. So, who stays and who goes? Will Aaron Judge be on the Judge's bench forever? Only time will tell. And over in LA, we've got some retirements to talk about. Daniel Hudson and Kevin Kiermaier are calling it a career. Hudson was a crucial part of the Dodgers bullpen, and Kiermaier, well, let's just say he's the guy you want patrolling the outfield when the game is on the line. Also, word on the street is that Clayton Kershaw might be hanging it up soon, which would mark the end of an era for the Dodgers. If Kershaw retires, We're talking about a Hall of Fame career that made grown men cry. But will he return? Only the Dodgers front office knows for sure. And in case you haven't heard, there are a ton of big free agents out there. Mookie Betts, Blake Trinan, Walker Buehler, and others could all be on the move. The offseason will be wild for LA, so get your popcorn ready. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Final Whistle Chronicles. But before I sign off, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Aaron Judge's season? The World Series outcome? Which player or team will make the biggest offseason splash? Hit me up on social media, drop a comment below, or shout at your TV. I'll probably hear it. Thanks for joining me on this ride. If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and of course, keep your love for the game alive. Remember, always play into the final whistle. And maybe, just maybe, give yourself some time for a good snack in the process.